Hello viewers, welcome to our channel Career Prep. In this video, we'll learn about the properties and formulae of a 2D shape, the triangle. Mensuration is an important and scoring topic of the quantitative aptitude section in competitive exams like GRE, GMAT, SSC, RBI exams, railway exams, and so on. There are different formulae to solve questions on this topic. So, knowing and applying these formulae is very important to do well in this section. Before we begin, please subscribe to our channel. Also press the bell icon to get notifications as soon as we post a new video. So, let's start. Now, let's understand the meaning of a triangle. The plane figure bounded by three lines joining three non-collinear points is called a triangle. The set of points that do not lie on the same line are called non-collinear points. Now here, this figure is a triangle. As you can see, this triangle is bounded by three lines AB, BC and CA. These three lines are formed by joining three non-collinear points A, B and C. Now let's understand what is the meaning of non-collinear points. Non-collinear points are points that do not lie on the same line. As you can see here, all the points A, B and C do not lie on the same line. So they are non-collinear points. And the line joining these three non-collinear points forms the triangle. A triangle is a polygon with three edges or sides, three vertices and three angles. So what's a polygon? A polygon is a closed 2D figure made up of line segments, not curves. So this triangle is a polygon and it has three edges or sides. Those are AB, BC and CA. Three vertices which are A, B and C, and three angles, angle A, angle B and angle C. So a triangle has three sides, three vertices and three angles. Let's now understand the properties of a triangle. Angle sum property. The sum of the interior angles of a triangle is always 180 degrees. Look at this triangle. Here, angle 1, angle 2 and angle 3 are the interior angles. So, according to angle sum property, angle 1 plus angle 2 plus angle 3 will always be equal to 180 degrees. Exterior angle property. Look at this figure again. Here, angle 1, angle 2 and angle 3 are the interior angles, whereas angle 4, angle 5 and angle 6 are the exterior angles. So let's now look at the exterior angle property of a triangle. The exterior angles of a triangle always add up to 360 degrees. This means angle 4 plus angle 5 plus angle 6 is always equal to 360 degrees. Remember, the sum of the interior angles is always 180 degrees and the sum of the exterior angles is always equal to 360 degrees. The exterior angle of a triangle is always equal to the sum of the interior opposite angles. Look at this figure. Here, angle A, angle B and angle C are the interior angles of the triangle. Angle D is the exterior angle. So, according to the exterior angle property, the exterior angle of a triangle is always equal to the sum of the interior opposite angles. Here, for the exterior angle D, the interior opposite angles are angle A and angle B. So, angle D will be equal to angle A plus angle B. The sum of consecutive interior and exterior angles equals 180 degrees. So, in this figure, angle D and angle C are consecutive exterior and interior angles. So, according to the exterior angle property, angle C plus angle D will be equal to 180 degrees. Let's look at some more properties of a triangle. The shortest side is always opposite the smallest interior angle. Similarly, the longest side is always opposite the largest interior angle. Look at this triangle. In this triangle, angle C is the smallest interior angle. The side opposite to angle C is AB. Since angle C is the smallest interior angle, side AB is the shortest side of this triangle. Also, in this triangle, angle B is the largest interior angle. The side opposite to angle B is AC. Now, since angle B is the largest interior angle, the side AC is the longest side of this triangle. Let's look at the next property of the triangle. The sum of the lengths of any two sides of a triangle is greater than the length of the third side. Look at this triangle. Here, the three sides of the triangle are A, B, and C. According to the property of the triangle, the sum of the lengths of any two sides of triangle is greater than the length of the third side. This means A plus B is always greater than C. A plus C is always greater than B. Similarly, B plus C is always greater than A. Let's now look at another important property of the triangle, the Pythagoras property. As per the Pythagoras theorem, in a right-angled triangle, the square of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the squares of the other two sides. Mathematically, it can be expressed as hypotenuse squared is equal to base squared plus altitude squared. Look at this right angled triangle ABC. Here angle A is 90 degrees. The side opposite to this angle is BC and BC is known as the hypotenuse. Now here in this right angle triangle, the side BC is the hypotenuse, the side AB is the base, the side AC is the altitude. So, according to the Pythagoras theorem, for this right angled triangle, BC squared is equal to AB squared plus AC squared. Let's now look at the types of triangles. On the basis of the length of the sides, triangles are classified into three categories: scalene triangle, isosceles triangle, and equilateral triangle. Now, in a scalene triangle, none of the three sides is equal. Now, this is a scalene triangle. As you can see here, no sides are equal. In an isosceles triangle, at least two sides are equal. This is an isosceles triangle. As you can see here, two sides are equal. In an equilateral triangle, all the angles and all the sides are equal. This is an equilateral triangle. As you can see here, all the three sides are equal. Triangles can also be classified on the basis of the measurement of the angles. On the basis of measurement of the angles, triangles are classified into three categories: acute angle triangle, obtuse angle triangle, and right angle triangle. In an acute angle triangle, all the angles are less than 90 degrees. Now this is an acute angle. As you can see here, all the three angles are less than 90 degrees. In an obtuse angle triangle, one of the angles is more than 90 degrees. Now this is an obtuse angle. As you can see here, this angle is more than 90 degrees. In a right angle triangle, one of the angles is 90 degrees. Now this is a right angle triangle. As you can see here, this angle is 90 degrees. Here are a few formulae which will help you to solve triangle problems in the topic mensuration. Now look at this triangle. Here A, B and C are the three sides of the triangle. Here we have considered side B as the base of the triangle. Now the opposite vertex to the base B is this vertex. Now if you draw a straight perpendicular from this vertex to the base, then the length of this perpendicular is the height. Now let's look at the formulae for solving triangle problems. Now if A, B and C are the three sides of a triangle, then its perimeter is equal to A plus B plus C. Now area of the triangle can be calculated depending on whether uh, one side and corresponding height is given or whether all the three sides of the triangle are given. Supposing one side, that is the base, and the corresponding height are given, then we can calculate the area of that triangle using the formula area is equal to half multiplied by base multiplied by height. Now, any side of a triangle can be taken as its base, and the corresponding height means length of the perpendicular to this side from the opposite vertex. Here in this triangle, we have taken B as the base. Now, the opposite vertex to base B is this vertex. Now, if a perpendicular is drawn from this vertex to the base, then this length will be the height. Now supposing we consider A as the base of the triangle, then the opposite vertex to side A is this vertex. Now if you draw a perpendicular from this vertex to the base A, then the length of this perpendicular will be the corresponding height. Similarly for side C. Now, if the three sides of a triangle are given, then the area of the triangle can be found out using Heron's formula. So, area of a triangle is equal to square root of S multiplied by S minus A multiplied by S minus B multiplied by S minus C. Here, A, B and C are the three sides of the triangle, and S is the semi-perimeter of the triangle. Now we know that perimeter of a triangle is A plus B plus C. Semi-perimeter of a triangle is nothing but half the perimeter. So S is equal to A plus B plus C divided by 2. So remember these three formula perfectly. Perimeter is equal to A plus B plus C. Area of a triangle, if one side and corresponding height is given, can be calculated using the formula area is equal to half multiplied by base multiplied by height. If the sides of the triangle are given, then the area of the triangle can be calculated using the formula area is equal to square root of s multiplied by s minus a multiplied by s minus b multiplied by s minus c, where s is equal to a plus b plus c divided by 2. Let's now learn about a few properties and formulae of different types of triangles. First, let's learn about equilateral triangle. In an equilateral triangle, all three sides are equal. All three angles are congruent and each of the angle is equal to 60 degrees. The perpendicular drawn from the vertex of the equilateral triangle to the opposite side bisects it into equal halves. Also, the angle of the vertex from where the perpendicular is drawn is divided into two equal angles, that is 30 degrees each. Now let's understand these properties with the help of these diagrams. Now here X, Y, Z is an equilateral triangle. So in an equilateral triangle, all three sides are equal. So we have the three sides as A and A. Also in an equilateral triangle, all three angles are equal and each of the angles is equal to 60 degrees. So here angle X is equal to angle Y is equal to angle Z, and each of these angles is equal to 60 degrees. Now, if you draw a perpendicular from say vertex X to the opposite side, that is YZ, then this perpendicular will divide this triangle into two halves. Now we know that YZ is A. So this perpendicular will divide YZ into two equal halves where each half is equal to A by 2. Also, this perpendicular divides the angle of the vertex X into two equal angles. Now we know that angle X is 60 degrees. So each of these angles will be 30 degrees. Let's now look at the formulae for equilateral triangles. We know that in an equilateral triangle, all the three sides are equal. So, if A and A are the three sides of the equilateral triangle, then its perimeter would be equal to A plus A plus A, which is nothing but 3A. So, perimeter of an equilateral triangle is equal to 3A. Area of an equilateral triangle is equal to root 3 by 4 multiplied by A squared. Height of an equilateral triangle is equal to root 3 by 2 multiplied by A. Now let's understand how the formulae for the height and area of an equilateral triangle have been derived. So first look at this equilateral triangle XYZ. Here each of the three sides is equal to A. Now here we have considered YZ as the base. Now if we draw a perpendicular from the vertex X to the base, then this perpendicular is the height of the equilateral triangle. Now this perpendicular divides the equilateral triangle into two equal right angle triangles. This perpendicular also divides the base into two equal halves. Now we know that the base YZ is equal to A. So each of these halves would be equal to A by 2. Now let's find out how the height of the equilateral triangle has been derived. Now, height of the equilateral triangle can be found out using the Pythagoras theorem, which states that hypotenuse squared is equal to base squared plus height squared. Now, if you consider this right angle triangle, then here the base would be a by 2. The height would be h and the hypotenuse would be a. So substituting these values in the Pythagoras theorem, we get a squared is equal to a by 2 the whole squared plus h squared. Now a by 2 the whole squared is nothing but a squared by 4. If we shift a squared by 4 to the left hand side of the equation, then we get h squared is equal to a squared minus a squared minus a squared by 4. On solving this, we get h squared is equal to 3a squared by 4, which means h is equal to square root of 3a squared divided by square root of 4. So h is equal to square root of 3 divided by 2 multiplied by a. So the formula for height of an equilateral triangle is h is equal to root 3 by 2 multiplied by a. Now that we know the formula for the height of the equilateral triangle, we can easily find the area of the triangle using the formula area of triangle is equal to half multiplied by base multiplied by height. Now, in this equilateral triangle, the base is, we have considered the base as yz, which is equal to a. Height is the length of this perpendicular, which is h. Now we know the value of h as root 3 by 2 multiplied by a. We know the value of the base is a. So substituting these values in the formula here, we get area of the triangle is equal to half multiplied by base, which is a, multiplied by height, which is root 3 by 2 multiplied by a. So this is nothing but area of equilateral triangle is equal to root 3 by 4 multiplied by a squared. Remember these three formula perfectly to solve problems on equilateral triangles. Let's now look at the properties of an isosceles triangle. An isosceles triangle has two equal sides. Angles opposite to the equal sides are equal to each other. Equal angles are called the base angles and the other angle is called the apex or vertex angle. The altitude divides an isosceles triangle into two equivalent right-angled triangles. Also, the altitude divides the base into two equal parts. Now let's understand all these properties with the help of this diagram. So this is an isosceles triangle. Here two sides are equal. So this side and this side are equal. Let's assume that each of this side is A. So this side is A and this side is A. Let's assume that the third side is the base of the isosceles triangle and let it be equal to B. Now angles opposite to the equal sides are equal to each other. So these two are the equal sides. Now the angle opposite to this side is this angle and the angle opposite to this side is this angle. So these two angles are equal to each other and these two angles are called the base angles. The third angle is called the vertex angle. So this is the vertex angle and these two are the base angles. The base angles are equal to each other. Now if we draw a perpendicular to the base from the a vertex opposite to the base, then the length of that perpendicular is the height of the isosceles triangle. Now this perpendicular line divides the isosceles triangle into two equivalent right angle triangles. So now we have two right angle triangles. Also, this perpendicular line, which is the height, divides the base into two equal parts. Now we know that the base is equal to b. So each half would be b by 2. Let's now look at a few formulae of isosceles triangle. Now we know that in an isosceles triangle, two sides are equal. Let each of those sides be equal to A. Let the third side be equal to B. So if A and B are the three sides of the isosceles triangle, then its perimeter would be equal to A plus B, which is nothing but 2A plus B. So perimeter of an isosceles triangle is equal to 2A plus B. Height of an isosceles triangle is equal to square root of a squared minus b squared by 4. Area of an isosceles triangle is equal to b by 4 multiplied by square root of 4a squared minus b squared. Now let's understand how the formulae for the height and area of the isosceles triangle are derived. So first let's look at this isosceles triangle. Here these two are the equal sides of the isosceles triangle. Let each of these sides be equal to A. Let the third side be the base of the isosceles triangle and let it be equal to B. Now if a perpendicular is drawn to the base from the vertex opposite to the base, then this perpendicular would be the height of the isosceles triangle. Now this perpendicular divides the isosceles triangle into two equivalent right angle triangles. So this angle is 90 degrees and this angle is also 90 degrees. This perpendicular also divides the base into two equal halves. Now we know that the base is equal to B. So each of these halves would be equal to B by 2. So now let's see how the formulae for height and area of the isosceles triangle have been derived. Now the height of the isosceles triangle can be found out using the Pythagoras theorem, which states hypotenuse squared is equal to base squared plus height squared. Now if we consider this right angle triangle, then the base would be equal to b by 2, height would be equal to h, and the hypotenuse, which is the side opposite to 90 degrees, is equal to a. Now applying the Pythagoras theorem, we have a squared is equal to b by 2 the whole squared plus h squared. B by 2 the whole squared is nothing but b squared divided by 4. Now when we shift b squared by 4 to the left hand side of the equation, we get h squared is equal to a squared minus b squared by 4. Now on solving this, we get h squared is equal to 4a squared minus b squared divided by 4. Now 4a squared minus b squared divided by 4 can be written as 4a squared divided by 4, which is nothing but a squared minus b squared by 4. So now we have h squared is equal to a squared minus b squared by 4. So now since we have to find the height h would be equal to square root of a squared minus b squared by 4. So the formula for height of an isosceles triangle is h is equal to square root of a squared minus b squared by 4. So now that we know the formula for the height of the isosceles triangle, we can easily find the area of the isosceles triangle using the formula area of the triangle is equal to half multiplied by base multiplied by height. Now if you look at this isosceles triangle, you can see that the base is equal to B and height is equal to H. So now we have area of the triangle is equal to half multiplied by base, which is B, multiplied by height, which is square root of A squared minus B squared by 4. Now when you solve this, you get square root. When you solve square root of a squared minus b squared by 4, you get square root of 4a squared minus b squared divided by 4, which is nothing but square root of 4a squared minus b squared divided by 4, square root of 4. Now square root of 4 is nothing but 2. So this 2 multiplied by this 2 is 4. So now you have area of the isosceles triangle is equal to b by 4 multiplied by square root of 4a squared minus b squared. Remember these three formula to solve problems on isosceles triangle. Let's now look at a few properties of an isosceles right angle triangle. An isosceles right angle triangle has two equal sides, which are also known as legs, and these two sides are perpendicular to each other. These equal sides are known as the base and the height. One angle measures 90 degrees. Since angles opposite to the equal sides are equal to each other, the other two angles measure 45 degrees each. The longest side that lies opposite the 90 degrees is called the hypotenuse. The altitude drawn from the right angle is the perpendicular bisector of the hypotenuse and divides the hypotenuse into two equal parts. Now let's understand all these properties with the help of these diagrams. So an isosceles right angle triangle has two equal sides and these two sides are perpendicular to each other. So this is an isosceles right angle triangle, and as you can see here, these two sides are equal to each other and they are perpendicular to each other. And these two sides are known as the base and the height. Now since these two sides are perpendicular to each other, it means that this angle is 90 degrees. Now we know that the sum of the three angles of a triangle is equal to 180 degrees. So if this angle is 90 degrees, then the sum of these two angles would be 90 degrees. Now we know that the angles opposite to the equal sides are equal to each other. Now these two sides are equal. Now the angle opposite to this side is this one, and the angle opposite to this side is this angle. So these two angles are equal to each other. Since this angle is 90 degrees, it clearly means that each of these angles is 45 degrees. Now the longest side that lies opposite the 90 degrees is called the hypotenuse. So this angle is 90 degrees and the side opposite to this 90 degrees would be this side. So AC is the hypotenuse of this isosceles right angle triangle. Now the altitude drawn from the right angle is the perpendicular bisector of the hypotenuse and divides the hypotenuse into two equal parts. So if a perpendicular is drawn from this right angle to the hypotenuse, this perpendicular would divide the hypotenuse into two equal parts, which means AM is equal to MC. Also, this perpendicular is the perpendicular bisector of the hypotenuse. So this angle would be 90 degrees and this angle also would be 90 degrees. Let's now look at a few formulae of an isosceles right angle triangle. Now we know that in an isosceles triangle, two sides are equal. So let each of those sides be equal to A. Let the third side be equal to L. So if A and L are the three sides of the isosceles right angle triangle, then its perimeter would be equal to A plus L, which is nothing but 2A plus L. So perimeter of an isosceles right angle triangle is equal to 2A plus L. Now area of an isosceles right angle triangle is equal to half multiplied by A squared. Now we know that area of a triangle is equal to half multiplied by base multiplied by height. Now look at this isosceles right angle triangle. Here the base is equal to A and height is also equal to A. So area of this isosceles right angle triangle would be equal to half multiplied by base, which is A, multiplied by height, which is also A. So we have area is equal to half multiplied by A squared. The hypotenuse of an isosceles right angle triangle, which is L, is equal to square root of 2 multiplied by A. Now let's see how the formula for the hypotenuse of an isosceles right angle triangle is derived. Now look at this isosceles right angle triangle. Here, this is the base, which is equal to A. This is the height, which is also equal to A. The side opposite to the 90 degrees is this side, which is the hypotenuse, and that is equal to L. Now, the hypotenuse of the isosceles right angle triangle can be found out using the Pythagoras theorem, which states hypotenuse squared is equal to base squared plus height squared. Now, as you can see here, in this isosceles right angle triangle, the base is equal to A, height is equal to A, and hypotenuse is equal to L. Now applying the Pythagoras theorem, we get L squared is equal to A squared plus A squared. This is nothing but L squared is equal to 2A squared, which means L is equal to square root of 2 multiplied by A. Remember these three formulae to solve problems on isosceles right angle triangle. Viewers, please go through this video and understand the properties of the different types of triangles. Memorize all the formulae. Please do watch our video 2D shapes, properties and formulae part 2. If you have liked this video, please like, subscribe and share this video. Thank you.